Hey, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, we're going to be checking out this quad, which has taken an absolute beating. I mean, look at it. I could have put new props on there, could have made it look like this one, but I wanted to show that because this is really important about this drone. What this is the Transtec Frog. I'll leave a link down below. There's a couple of different versions, like the frame, spare arms, or the bind and fly. We're going to be checking out the bind and fly, and I'm going to be telling you why I'm so excited, because look, it's about 200 bucks. It's really good value, super strong, can take an absolute beating. It can go over 100 miles per hour, and the best bit, you take it out of the box and it works pretty much flawlessly. So what we're going to be doing is sticking it on the bench, breaking it down, giving it a quick squeeze, having a look at its components, all that sort of stuff, and then the fun stuff, we'll take it out to the field, rip it around, hand it over to Grumpy Trev, show you guys some HD footage. We'll also get crash test Cal on the sticks and behind speed gun Sally, and see what makes this such a good choice for people out there, especially for people out there who think, gee, I want to get into the hobby. What's a good beginner drone? Well, something like this is good for so many people. It flies great, and it can take so much punishment. Oh, and a massive shout out too, because I got this one here, well, this is the brand new one out of the box. That's going to be going out to my Patreon supporters, so that's going to be thrown in the prize pool for the end of this month as well, because, look, I couldn't do what I do on UAVfutures. I couldn't share this message of just getting out, having fun, learning about FPV and flying around with these drones. I couldn't do that without my Patreon supporters' help. So we've got a brand new bind and fly one, just like the one we reviewed. So hopefully someone out there is going to have a lot of fun with this. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's stick it on the bench and find out why this is one of the best value quads that you can get that does so much. All right, let's do it. Alrighty, here it is on the bench. We're going to be talking about the new one. I put this crashed up, mashed up one over to the side. It's still going really well, but so you guys can see what I'm talking about, this is the Transtec Frog. And I guess as a bit of an overview, what it is, it's a 5-inch racer. It's bind and fly. It's designed for people just to take it out of the box, rip it around, and get some solid performance. Now, in the past, I guess one big difference between this one versus some of the others, this thing, it just doesn't, it seems to hit the mark on all the bases. Now, what I want to do, let's quickly go through some of the components, the designs, and all that sort of stuff, and then the fun stuff when we take it out and rip it around. Now, what you actually get, I've got some whiskey props on here, but you actually get some gem fan props, tri-blade props, no biggie. What if I can take these off? No biggie right there, because look, all the pilots I know, they change their props out for their favorite ones anyway. You do only get one set, which is a little bit of a shame, so we're going to take these off. So there we go, props are off. You can see it's a true X configuration, which means it's the same distance from motor to motor, front to back, as it is from side to side. If I flip it over, something I really want to stress is it is a very, very stiff frame. Now, I know it's really hard to get that across in a video because, you know, oh, look, it's super tough, but trust me, it's a very stiff frame. It's got on the arms, it's actually made up of 4 individual arms, and that's a really, really good feature, because it means if you break one, well then it's very easy to replace it. I'll link the arms down below as well, somewhere they should be there. The carbon on the outside, on the arms, that's 3mm thick, and it's got this little sandwich plate in the middle, very, very secure. Before we look at the motors, let's see how much this thing weighs. So let's tear our scales off. It's coming in at 283 grams. So look, it's a pretty decently sized weight, and I say that in a good way. Like, it's not too heavy, not one of those ultralights or anything like that. I think for what you get, the strength of the frame, it's a pretty good little quad. Now on the outside, you can see, I'll flash some pictures on the screen. You got some of these bumpers and that sort of stuff. Alrighty, now we're going to check out the motors. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see a little bit better. Okie dokies, let's kick it off with our motors right here. Our first components, they're unbranded, by the way. There's got no writing on there or anything like that, but they are 2205 2500 kV, and they look very, very similar, I guess, to the Brother Hobby, the Tornadoes, the version 1s they used to have. So look, they're a pretty good motor, and I must say, after flying this thing around, they do perform very, very well. Now, there's no ESCs on the arm or anything like that. What we've got in the middle, it's a 30 amp D-Shot ESC, so that's fantastic. You know, that's getting to be pretty standard stuff. On the top, we've got our flight controller VTX combo, and what that is, that's like an F3. It's got Betaflight, OSD, all that sort of stuff. But it's also our VTX, so you've got your 40 channel or 48 channel VTX in there, adjustable power levels, all that sort of stuff. So look, it's a really nice little neat package between the ESCs, the flight controller, and these motors. That's why it performs so well. Now on the FPV side of things, we've got this little dipole antenna out the back, and some people might complain about that. It does mean it's very robust, because in crashes it's just bending over and all that sort of jazz. But some people, they really prefer their little omnidirectionals. But I guess by putting it this way, you are going to be saving a bit of weight. And I've got to say, my reception was totally fine when I was flying it around. And then on the front, on the other side of things, what we've got, our little run cam mini right here. So a very, very reliable, and I must say, extremely well protected FPV camera. If you break that, you're going to be getting very, very unlucky. Now, some of the other little extras, what we've got some LEDs, changeable colors on the back. It does come with like one of these bad boys right here, so like a little, this is the one I've been using, a little battery pad. Very easy to slide your Velcro strap through the middle. Now, moving on to the design of the thing, this is where I'm going to sort of, I'm kind of on the fence. I guess the design of the actual quad for its purpose and what you want to do with it, it just goes very, very well. So like 10 out of 10 there. It's strong, it's got good components, well protected, and I mean the way this cage thing goes up around the top, I'll flash a picture on the screen, but this part, it is so robust. It can take such a beating, but on the flip side of that, I think it's one of the most generic, boring looking quads that I've ever seen. So in style wise, I'm not really a big fan of that. Look, that's just my personal opinion. Drop your comments down below. What do you think about it? But for me, I don't feel like it's got that sort of style, wow, pizzazz, sort of really in your face, crazy look that some of our other drones have. This thing, it's very generic looking, but it absolutely rips. Sort of reminds me of like a station, I guess like a normal family sedan or something like that, that's got a big motor under the hood. Now the quality, I've really got to give it to the Transtec guys. All the solder joints in here, very, very nice. The motors, it performs really well. The carbon's very stiff, and the ability, because you've got some of those spare arms that are like $5. I think they're $5. Tell me in the link down below. I think they're $5 anyway, but being able to do that means you've got a very reliable quad that's going to work very well. Alrighty, so that moves us on to the pros and the cons. Now let's get the cons out of the way. Things that I guess some people might not like. You've only got a dipole antenna. I don't mind that whatsoever, but some people, they're going to prefer their circular polarized ones. The other part, it looks pretty generic, like it's a very, very generic looking quad, in my opinion, you know. And then that's really about all I can think about this thing, I guess. It doesn't take 5S, but a lot of them don't. And then if we move on to the pros, this is where the list makes it such a good quad choice for nowadays. It's bind and fly. I know that it flies really, really well, and we're going to see that in the HD footage. It can take an absolute hammering. It is super strong, and it's only coming in at about $200. So I mean, that's like the same price as the new Wizard, but this thing is much more reliable. Its quality is really good. It's got really good FPV camera. Everything about this drone is fantastic, except for the look. I'm just not a fan of that. So I'm very happy for people to get one of these, fly it around, because they're just going to have a fantastic time with a quad that keeps going and going. Plus, you know, if you do get unlucky and break an arm, it's like $5. So I'm a big fan of this quad. Anyway, that's the boring bench stuff out of the way. What we should do, let's jump out to the field and rip it around, show you some HD footage, hand it over to Trev and Cal, and then show you, look, I was not expecting this thing to go as fast as it actually did. So a very, very, almost like a little sleeper drone. Anyway, let's cut out to the field and rip it around in 3, 2, 1. Look, a little bit of a bonus, actually. We've just turned up and we saw some wings flying off way off in the distance. So what we did, we're here with our wingman, Jono. He sent his wing for a bit of a reconnaissance. It was pretty funny. We saw them, sort of gave them a wave, and then I guess 20 seconds later, they had a phantom over our spot as well, checking us out. So that's pretty funny between two FPV groups. One's way over there, we're over here flying, and we're sort of meeting up with each other. That's pretty cool. Rightio, out here in the field, about to rip it around with the Transtec Frog. It's a pretty sturdy looking beast. We're going to show you some HD footage, hand it over to Grumpy Trev, all that sort of stuff. No crash test Cal today because he's been a bit of a sook, having to sleep in. We've got our wingman Jono though, but first things first, let's address what's on my head. Not my great hairstyle. What we've got, these are the Fly Key goggles, and the reason is I'm not switching. I still love my Onways, but I forgot the little power adapter. So look, these are my backup goggles, and you guys might think I'm crazy, but these get some really, really good reception. So that's why I've got to use this, but this actually has a different power connector. So that's why I'm using these today. I wish I had my Onways, but for you guys asking, I'll link these down below. I don't mind these goggles, and these are actually my backup ones. Anyway, let's do it. Let's show you some HD footage of the Transtec Frog. Okie dokie, so I'm just going to let you guys watch this one for a maiden flight. And look, it has plenty of power we'll talk about, but this has to be one of my shortest maidens ever. Yeah. Yes. That was so good. I'm gonna... Oh, that was awesome. I let you like rebuild that. Holy crap. You just annihilated it. Okay, maybe we'll take two. Mate, it looks perfect though. No joke. That was a pretty big crash, yeah? A bed prop. Oh man. I wish I could have snapped my phone out faster.
caught that.
What did that look like, Jono, in the air?
That was just cartwheeling for like 20 meters. 20 meters of cartwheeling. That was hectic. Yeah, that was a powerful crash.
Okie dokie, so here we go with a take two. We're actually, crazy enough, still on the same props, and you can see straight out of the gate, this thing absolutely rips. Like when you drop the hammer on a 4S battery, there was no way I was expecting it to be quite this, I guess, quite this fast. For a standard bind and fly that's $200, this thing has speed coming out the wazoo. And here we're doing a little bit of testing as well around the trees, and it is a very, very nimble, little zippy little quad. Now we're sort of out here because we're doing some wing videos and stuff like that. We will take it out and rip it around the test track, and I'll show you a bit of footage there as well. But in a moment, you're going to see I have another crash with this thing, and it holds up spectacularly. So I know a lot of other, you can see just how zippy it is around those trees, but I know a lot of other quads here will just simply explode. Okay.
Oh lordy. We got GoPro here, see? And then we've got quad all the way over here.
Hang on, let's see. I reckon... No, leave it. I reckon we can still arm... Oh, we do have to bend this prop back up.
No, it'll fly a bed prop like that, it's all good.
Well,
did you crash?
Let's see if we can arm and take off. It's good, Trevor's right in the firing line there, so can you hold this please, Trevor?
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Did you crash, Stu?
No, the ground just jumped up.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta give it to it. It can take a beating. You know what's kind of crazy? The beating that thing took.
What do you mean the beating? It took, I haven't flown it yet.
But yeah, I'm impressed. All right, wing expert Jono, what did you think about, nice Stickman t-shirt too, by the way. What did you think about the crashes that thing took and its durability?
Well, I'm looking at it here, and it doesn't look like it's got a scratch on it. Any other one, man, I reckon that probably would have just been wrecked. That would have been a straight up wreck. That's nuts, yeah.
Let's get, okay, Jono, durability out of 10?
Durability out of 10. That would have to be a solid at least a 9, I reckon.
Okay, yeah. Oh look, there's Trevor. Trevor, did you crash? He's doing a big walk of shame.
That's a long walk of shame. Look how long that is. How far do you reckon that is out of 10?
Out of 10, that's a 7. 7 out of 10 for far away. What do you reckon, Evie? What do you reckon out of 10 for how far old Uncle Grumpy Trevor is away? 20. 20, yeah. Okie dokie, poor Trev there, some sad soppy music getting his quad. But here we are, a week later at the test track, ripping this thing around. I've got some A-van props on here, and you can see, if you've got the skills to pay the bills, this quad, it handles beautifully. It's got plenty of top speed, like you saw. It's very robust, and probably my favorite thing, you know, is how you can take it out of the box, rip it around. It's going to be perfect for beginners because the flight experience is so nice, and you can crash it very, very hard, and it's just going to keep going and going. The frame is very strong. The motors seem to hold up very well in crashes, so I expect in the future a lot of people are going to be getting into the hobby with this, and they're going to be keeping it for a long time. They're not going to be upgrading it or anything like that because it performs so well. Anyway, what we should do, let's cut back to Trev back in time and see what he thinks about it. Alright, Trevor, we're about to fly around with the Transtec Frog, and what are your impressions on it? Or I guess, what have you just seen?
Well, I know it's strong because I've seen you actually hit the ground twice with it. And it cartwheeled quite a few ways, and I thought, well, that's going to be in no fit condition.
You know what's crazy? That's still the same props as well.
Yeah, look, well, that one's a little bit bent, but yeah, look, it's surprisingly strong. Well, not really, it looks strong, so, but yeah, it survived a pretty good beating you just give it, so let's see if it can survive Grumpy Trev.
Alright, alrighty, Trev.
It's a frog, what a name. Oh, it's got plenty of punch.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, geez, it goes alright, doesn't it? Handles pretty well, impressed so far. Which tree can I hit, Stu?
Anyone you like.
I like the way it handles, it's nice and nippy, pretty well locked in, nothing, nice camera. What sort of camera's in it?
Run cam.
Reception's pretty good. It's Look, I've flown better, but this is still alright. Nice, strong looking frame. Well, look, I reckon anyone can fly this. It's plenty of punch. I mean, it's not hard to fly. I'd say it's hard at all. It's a beginner could fly this, and it's got power to burn later on.
Do you think it's going to hold up well if you're the sort of person who crashes a lot?
Oh yeah. For a beginner, well, Stu just crashed it twice. I'm still going on the first battery. I haven't even looked like crashing yet. Did you hear that, Stu?
You're going to crash.
And it is really good to fly. It's certainly strong.
Do you think it's more of a racer quad or more of a freestyle quad? Where do you see this one?
Oh, it's sort of a bit in between, I think. It's got plenty of punch. Its acro's pretty nice. I mean, it's pretty responsive in acros as well. So, look, I reckon a bit of both. I think this would suit just about anyone. Not the full-on bloody racer, but the switch is in a different spot to mine. I went to switch that one. It's not there.
What's that, Trevor? You're making excuses.
No, I went to disarm. Look,
I'm just going to edit this bit out. Trevor, what was the reason, Trevor? Beep!
Yeah.
So final impressions
Well, that
of
was
the frog, Transtec frog.
It was really enjoyable to fly.
Yep.
It's nice and strong. Because Stu hit the ground with it twice.
Yeah, you keep saying
And
that.
it cartwheeled like this, like it went for 100 metres.
Is there any flex in the frame or anything like that?
Oh, jeez, I'll probably break my oh, yeah, the tiniest if you really give it heaps. No, it's nothing. That's good.
Okay.
Look, I reckon it's really well made. I like it. It's
all right.
a good starting quad, and I didn't crash it, so there it looks crash proof.
Okay.
So, did you crash this, Stu?
Gosh, we're going to move on.
But
from
yeah,
me
it's a
crashing
great little quad,
I'll
guys.
never live it down.
I really like that. Look.
All right, I guess what's the Grumpy Trev rating out of 10 in terms of performance?
Well, look, I reckon that's 8.5. This one.
Okay, and what makes you give it that? Like, what part is
Because
performing well for
out
you?
of the box, it just flew. It was stable. You can do everything you want with it. You can do a bit of acro and a little bit of a race, and it's well put together. Have a look at it. It's just good.
Yep, that probably is my favourite thing about it too. Now you said that is just how robust and like it's just a well designed, nothing amazingly innovative, but just a strong quad. Okay, and what about a Grumpy Trev rating out of 10 in terms of value? Because it's about $200, ready to rock and roll.
Well, look, I reckon the value's pretty good. So I have to say a 9 for value.
Okay.
It's this is finally a quad that's probably worth the money.
Okay. Great. All right, so you definitely recommend this over some of the other Fury Bees and those other things we've seen in the past?
Yeah, well, this didn't catch fire, so.
Okay.
No, this is definitely a good one.
Yep.
If you're just getting into it and you want something strong, easy to fly, and forgiving, this is for you. That's for sure.
All right. Nice. Thanks, Trev. Weeks past, where were you last week when Trevor and I were flying this around? What's going on?
I was working.
Okay, fair enough. This is the frog, the Transtec frog. What do you think? What are your first impressions on this?
It's a nice, solid, sturdy frame. The frame's very good. It's a frame that's been around for a while now.
Yep.
And a lot of people really love this frame. I can see why. This is the first one I've seen in person, and it just seems really solid, well constructed. There's not anything I can say bad about this frame, really.
Do you think it'll take a crash well?
Yeah, I do.
All right, that's interesting. Trev, what did you see last week? What did we do to this frame? Well, I should say, what did I do to that frame? Because I know you'll clarify that. What happened to this thing?
He tried to break it.
But he couldn't.
No. He powered that thing into the ground, like you wouldn't believe, and it survived.
So I can confirm it does hold up in crashes very, very well.
It's got the sandwich plate design for your arms as well, which I think adds a lot of extra strength to a frame. So yeah.
All right.
And it looks like it's got Brother Hobby motors, but they're not labelled or
they're not branded.
anything. Yeah.
I have changed the props out. I put some A-bands on there too, so that'll be a bit different
All
for
right.
you today. All right, let's rip around, see how we go.
Okay.
You're keeping your batteries in your hive bag?
Yeah, I didn't bring as many today, so I had room for that.
What are we flying?
We're using the China
Hobby line.
China Hobby Line 1500, yeah, 100C.
How do you feel about those batteries?
They're great.
Okay.
They're just a little big. It's my only criticism of them, but as far as performance, they're fantastic.
All right.
Welcome to Open TA.
Ready to go, Cal?
Not with this radio.
No, that's correct, brother.
Smarter.
Yeah, he did. I think we might not be on the
Okay.
correct model though. Let me just check. Oh yeah, we're good to go. Ready to rock and roll.
All right.
Oh, and you'll need to be on my channel, which will be F2.
Yeah, look,
Does it feel fast?
it doesn't feel slow. I don't know if these are real Brother Hobby motors or not, but they feel quite okay. Actually, it does feel pretty good. Yeah, no, it feels like a well-balanced frame. With those motors, it's performing well.
Who do you think this quad would be good for?
Oh, anyone starting in the hobby.
Yeah, why do you say that?
Because it can take a beating. Well, I don't know the price of it, but if it's well priced, it's an obvious choice for a beginner quad because it can take a beating. It's basically a track quad with the underslung battery. So anyone that's starting to race for the first time, or they just even want a good freestyler that can take a beating, this would probably be a pretty good option actually, especially if the price is good. The pitch is good, no complaints whatsoever with that. I've got a nice little OSD which is all well sorted out.
Yep.
So yeah, the FPV side of it is fantastic, no problem at all.
Alrighty, I guess sum this up. Cal's famous 4 words for the frog.
Well, get it if you're new.
Okay, alrighty.
Even get it if you're not new and you just want something that's durable and a good basher.
That's more than 4 words, but we'll let you have it.
Alrighty, it's a great basher.
Alright, it's a great basher. Alright, there we go, that's another good pull. Alright, thanks Cal.
The more I fly it, the more I'm enjoying it.
Okay. I guess final thoughts before we hit it with the speed gun. What did you reckon? It's about 210 bucks also, around the 200 buck mark.
Well, I know this is a popular frame and it's popular with good reason. I can see why. It's very strong, it's well balanced, and it flies really well. If you've got the right motors, right componentry, you've got a good fly here that's going to last you for a long time, there's no doubt about it. Now this is the sandwich plate, it has the arms, so if you do get unfortunate enough to break an arm, you can easily replace it, which is something I like too. I hate having a solid bottom plate with all-in-one arms, I guess you'd call it, and then to have a broken arm means you have to replace the whole plate, which is usually very expensive because this whole thing has to be cut out of one piece of carbon. So wherever they can make separate arms, I'm all for that. I like that. And the motors perform well. I think they might be Brother Hobby, just kind of an OEM version, and T1s perhaps. They seem to go very well. And I did have a little bit of oscillation in the top 5% of my throttle range, and I think that's just put that down to these highly pitched AVAN props. So I think with some cyclones on it, you'd probably eliminate that, or with a little bit of PID tuning.
Alright.
So no, the more I flew it, the more I enjoyed it, and
you're a fan?
Yeah, I am actually. I like it.
Thanks, Cal. How fast is this going to go? 4S on the speed run, no GoPro. What do you reckon? Miles per hour, one number.
AVAN props?
Yeah, these props.
Alright, I'll give it 95.
Okay, Trev?
97.
Okay.
You said a number.
Alright, I'm going to go 90. So I'll go 90, 95. Trev's going for the big one, 97. Alright, let's do it. Ready to suit up?
Suit up. Alright guys, it's time for the obligatory speed test. This is a pretty solid quad, so I definitely don't want to get hit by it. Unbranded motors, it's really hard to say what this thing is going to do. They do look like Brother Hobby T1s, so I'm confident we'll get a bit of speed out of it. AVAN props are going to serve it well. Let's have a look here. Alright, here we go. 97! Straight off the bat, 97, alright. That's doing well. This is a very fast, it's a very fast beginner quad. Alright. 105 mile an hour. It's faster than I thought. There you go. If you buy this as a beginner quad, you might want to run it on 3S at first. Alright, here we go. 99. We know she's got enough juice to be competitive on a track, that's for sure. 104. 104. 104. He's very consistent. Ooh, what the? Where'd that come from? Oh, get off you, mongrel! Get out of here! Go! Oh. Come on! Get me dizzy and make me pass out. Go the other way, will you? I'm about to pass out.
You standing up okay there, Cal?
Got a little dizzy, mate. Bloody thing, I'm gonna bloody unplug that.
Are you getting dizzy?
Yeah.
That was
Dizzy
the
as
play. That's what I said to Trevor. I'm not going to hit him. We're just going to see how dizzy we can make.
What do you think of that, Cal?
I'm not impressed, mate.
See, he is a prick, isn't he, this bloke? Yeah.
Payback's gonna be a
Oh, see, safety first, mate. We worry about you. That's what it was.
Trying to give me a heart attack, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, that went pretty quick. What was that top reading? 107? 5. I think.
Remember.
I'd like to point out
105. Yeah, you were closest, Trev. All right, Cal, so I've given you a heart attack. What did that look like in the air on the speed runs, Trev?
Well, look, you could tell the very first run, you could tell it was fast. It was going
I think
to be fast.
97, you were right. You wanted to bring it in on the very first one.
Yeah, it just looks fast straight out of the box.
And we should point out too today, there is like not a breath of wind either, so definitely not wind assisted.
Just sent us so smooth as well. Look, it had a bit more to burn, didn't it, really?
Yeah. Look, it's a great all-rounder for anyone. For
105, 104, that's quick, miles per hour. I'll flash on the
So-
screen whatever that is in Ks, but yeah.
So if you're new to the hobby, you probably want to run this on 3S until you get used to it, and then once you feel like you're up to it, up to 4S, and obviously you've got something that's really going to rip. What a great deal.
Cool. All right. Thanks, boys. Sorry I almost gave you a heart attack, Cal.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Alrighty, so there it is. There's my review of the Transtec Frog, and they do so much right. I mean, let's just rattle some of these things off. 100 miles per hour plus on a 4S. It wasn't that long ago that, you know, we hadn't even broken the 100 mile per hour mark, so that part's crazy. This thing, so it's an absolute rocket. It flies beautifully out of the box. The tune is amazing. You don't have to muck around with anything. It's so easy to get set up and get flying. The price, I mean, for like 200 bucks, how can you complain for such a good racer? And then the other part as well, which is really, really important, it can take an absolute ton of punishment. Like, the frame is so strong, it can take such a beating, which is really important for people out there who are learning to fly. You know, you might be crashing into trees, some heavier obstacles. Not all of us want those ultralights that are going to break all the time. We want something very, very robust. And for me, I know I'm going to be using this one a lot when I'm practicing some of that crazy acro, like some of those Matty flips where you're coming backwards, I guess, in blind, and you can't really see, you're going to be hitting the ground a lot. You know, I think it does a lot right, and it's going to serve a lot of people and make them very, very happy. Now look, is it perfect? I'm going to say, well, no drone is perfect, and really the only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have that wow factor. It's like a family sedan that absolutely rips on the road, but it doesn't really blow anybody's mind, I guess, when they're looking at it, or at least in my opinion anyway. So the style factor, it's a pretty boring, generic looking drone, but what it does, it flies well, it's super robust, and is very, very quick. So I guess, look, if you're not into style and that doesn't bother you, then no dramas, but it doesn't really have that stylish flair or something like that. Anyway, that just might be a bit of me rambling, but what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. What do you think about the Transtec Frog? And a massive thanks to my Patreon supporters, because I couldn't do what I do on the channel without your support. So look, whoever wins this, congratulations. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm going to be having a lot of fun with mine. Subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy flying.
What's happened?
Adjusting my goggles.
What's happened, Stu?
I may have got
You're not
stuck
in
in
a
the
tree again. That's twice in one day.
I don't even know where I am. At least it's not too bad.
What do you mean you don't even know? How can it not be too bad? You don't know where you are.
The tree's not too bad. I know it's here somewhere.
Where's V? Back a bit. Let's see it. Right there.
Oh, God.
It couldn't get much
No,
higher.
wait. Is that it?
Yep, I reckon it is. Looks like a couple of motors, maybe not.
No, these nuts are everywhere, mate. I still can't.
No, maybe that's not it.
I don't think that is it. Oh, yeah. How do we not see that?
I don't know.
But how are we going to get that? That's the important part.
Oh, here it is up there. What's happened, Stu? How are you going to get that one out?
We'll get that.
What are we doing here, guys?
All right, the plan is to stick this up there, see how we go. If that doesn't work, we'll take the material off and see if it goes any better.
They'll be taking material off. You're not running back, Stu, what happened?
I'm out of breath.
You pull a hammy.
Cal's running. Sorry.
Oh, well done. I didn't expect it to come down as cleanly as that.
No, neither did I. So what did we just do, Cal?
We just retrieved.
We've saved Stu
What's
for
this wee business? Let me just say, what's this wee? Oh yeah, you did help. What did Trevor do?
I got the stick before.
What stick?
Get the other one out. So this is the second time we've had to do a recovery today for Stu, isn't it? Stuck in a tree.
And probably won't be the last way
No.
it's going.
Yeah.
See if we can do it again.
And
That's
no one
it.
was talking to him either, were they?
No.
He's got no excuse.
Alrighty, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel and check out these videos. And I'm also going to leave a little link here to my Patreon page because I've got some fantastic Patreon supporters and I like to give back to them as well. So if you want to join the UAVfutures family, there's things like bonus Velcro straps, little bundles of FPV goodies and things like that that also get sent out. Anyway, happy flying.